Hello everybody, welcome once again to Living and Active. Welcome to the first video I've done for Motel's new machine in a very long time. But if you were paying attention in post, you saw that I had planned to go out into the outdoor areas that I know and try to get some short videos or some stills for the 90 seconds with the creator playlist. You also know, if you read that post, that I didn't go because of migraines and stuff. So what I ended up doing today, because lots of stuff came in today, is I'm just gonna have a shop day, and I'm gonna enjoy the shop day. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. But here's how I'm gonna shoot this in a couple segments, and then I'll stitch them all together and I'll put them up for you guys to enjoy, so it's not just yet another long thing of me just running my mouth. I'm in my office chair currently, which is why I have the power of the swivel. I may not be in it for this whole rest. I don't know. I may or may not switch to the wheelchair, but for now I have the power of swivel. So I'm going to celebrate that particular fact. I'm going to show you that I am ready to rock. I have my Joshua 1.9 sweet tea container ready to go, complete with straw. I have my mixed bag of mixed snack mixes ready to go for snacking. I have obviously stuff playing on the computer, which I'm probably not going to be able to show you because of copyright, whatever. And I've got my get in the light. There we go. I've got my Generation X alarmingly unperturbed hat sitting on my head. Thank you very much, Jesse from Gen X Thinks, for putting that together for me. I appreciate it. What I also have here is the Ailing. I'm going to have to turn the light on here, I believe. Where is the light? Anyway, I have my Ailing brother VX71 light, please. There we go. That was, up until this very afternoon, the newest sewing machine that I actually have. I'm about to put this together, get it off the bench, and start doing the intake and initial inspection of the two machines that I got in today. You'll see them in the thumbnail and on the post that I did earlier. No, I haven't put that post up yet, but you'll see it on the post and you'll see it in the thumbnail, the two machines that I got today. So basically what needs to go on is, well, here's the problem. You can see that little housing there is where this piece sits. Sorry, trying to watch what I'm doing and hold the camera at the same time doesn't work. Plus I got the half a hands in effect. There we go. Okay, so that just kind of sits in there, and then this ring goes over the top, holds it. This ring goes over the top, holds it in place, and these two little ears flip up to hold the ring in place. Now the problem I'm having with this machine is that with the needle in the position it's in, this line here between where these two pieces meet, this piece I just set in there, and then the framing part of what controls where this bobbin case sits, should be pretty much in a plumb line down from the bottom of the needle bar. And as you can see, it's almost 45 degrees out of plumb. Now this can be caused by a couple things. This can be caused by some really nasty things happening to the bobbin case adjustment screws, but in most cases, and I think is this case with this machine, since when we turn the hand wheel, it gets to that point and then it sticks. You have to force it to complete the cycle, and then it'll go again until it gets to that point in the cycle again, and then it'll stick again, which tells me that there is a bent drive rod. These are very hard to find, not exactly easy to replace, and it's not something that's in my budget for this month or probably even next month to worry about in terms of both time and money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish putting this back together. It's not, like I said, I just got to snap this ring into place. I might actually do this on video, let you see it. Oh, man. Okay, so we have a fix for this. We take the machine with our half a hand, and we hold the camera with our other half a hand. We get you really close to the action. Oops. Maybe we give you a little bit of motion sickness. This is so hard to do through the viewfinder. Okay. So now we've got that set in place. This ring literally just snaps right there. Put this ear up. Snap this ear into place. And then that slides there. Where did it go? There's a screw. Oops. There's a screw and a pin that I've just found that go in place. Sorry, you're getting the Leland's eye view of trying to reach for things. See, now I have less than half a hand because I'm holding something in my left half a hand, thinking it's going to be okay. So then this little tab goes here. Sorry, let me get lined up here. This little tab goes here to hold that little access door in place. Just going everywhere, huh? And try to do this. In case you're wondering, I do actually have a tripod. I do, believe it or not, know how to use it. But I didn't have the space to set up a tripod here in the shop to get these kinds of angles, and this is not going to work, so I am going to set you over here momentarily. So I guess you have to look at my face again. I'm going to get this buttoned back up, and then I'm going to end this segment of the video and go on to, oh, by the way, you like my new fan? I got this today too. It goes very, very fast. I'll probably show you how fast it goes after I get this buttoned up again and out of the way. But I'm going to set you right on top of that sewing box right there. I'm going to point you at my face in the general direction of my face, and then I'm going to put this back together hopefully quickly, and we will rejoin our currently scheduled video shooting session. Excuse the hand. No idea what you can see because I didn't flip the viewfinder around, Probably looking, hopefully you're looking at the side of my head, my ear. I think I've got it clean enough for you so as not to cause offense. So as I'm doing this, there are some uh, updates for the in-person live action, I guess you could say, Living and Active, peer mentoring and social interaction things that I'm working on building. Um, Also, it's 2 in the afternoon, in case you're wondering, according to the clock that just chimed. But first, anyway, so I'm getting closer to approval for a third site. I have to wait for that phone call or email or whatever before I can discuss details with it. See what the scope is, because they're gonna contact me. They're gonna let me know. They're gonna ask me probably directly what it is I hope to do, and then they're gonna let me know whether or not they're okay with that, and then I'm gonna have to respond with whether or not I'm okay with what they're okay with in terms of actually serving the people coming to the gatherings. And if they give me a bunch of business about what they will or won't accept on premises, then it's just not going to happen, and I'll have to find another venue for Fenimore, which would be not ideal because I'm really hoping to get this venue that I'm waiting approval for, just because of the recreation and leisure opportunities that are built into the location. It's basically a student lounge at the local technical college campus. But in terms of other updates for that kind of thing, there are all kinds of people that are now getting back to me, showing all kinds of interest and everything else. The first person I made contact with at the Lancaster Public Library actually went way above and beyond, and on their own time actually designed a series of flyers and information cards for the locations and schedules and everything else. And then she sent me the PDF so that I could distribute it however I see fit. So praise God, that is a blessing. It takes a little bit off of my plate in terms of getting ready for these things, since they're going to start on the 15th. And I'm going to get really awkward here, and I'm going to grab the camera, and I'm going to give you back to the view that we had before. I have what they call the face or the nose reassembled. And I've got this just about ready to go, but I'm going to, in case you don't know how to do this on these types of machines, again, this is a 1965 Brother VX 710 Brother. It's a very simple zigzag machine, which is why I wanted it. These are normally, when they don't have bent drive shafts, these are very simple, reliable machines to have. I don't know if you saw all that, but that's how the bobbin case goes in. Flip that closed. This spool pin pushes down so it doesn't get broken, and then I believe that's all I got to do before I put it out of the way and make room for the next machine I'm going to bring up here, which I will do very soon. First, let me slide this kind of out of the way. I've been wanting a machine like that. By the way, spool of thread always comes off the machine so it doesn't get lost, and so I can use it elsewhere. But I've been wanting, ever since I got into the old-fashioned typewriters, I've been wanting to set up a desk that had this kind of fan on it. And I got one a couple months ago. It's a little bit bigger than this, and it looks cool. It's got the gnarly cage and all this other stuff, but it's not seated right. The cage is bent, the fins are bent, and so it hits whenever I try to power it on. So I've been looking for another one that was a reasonable price that I didn't have to do too much to. This is an Eskimo from, I'm going to say, the 40s, maybe 50s. I'm guessing because it has a solid face on the plug. It's completely enclosed, it's not open. I'm going to say this is probably 40s or 50s. But I dusted it off, I cleaned it up a little bit. But I'm going to see if I can actually get this set up somewhere. See if I can use both of my happy hands. Give you some kind of shot here. And I'm gonna hopefully be able to do this. By the way, this is my chimneyed candle stand. I love using this thing to read by, just to practice for, you know, when things change. But let me see. Oh, another key piece of equipment I have here in the shop is my hydrometer. This basically tells me temperature and the humidity percentage in the room. This is important for things like antique woods or electronics like old motors or whatever else. I have to try to keep it regulated in here for the sake of not adding to any single element's corrosion or whatever. It's got a magnetic little thing on the back of it, and I was hoping it would stick to the base of the fan, but it doesn't. So here we go. I'm going to try. You're going to see the light shift a little bit. You're not losing your mind or your vision. It's just me getting to the plug in the base of this lamp so that I can show you how crazy this fan is. 1, 2, 3. I thought this was going to be a nice, gentle, quiet, slow-moving fan like you see in all the movies or whatever. There's no speed settings for this at all. But as you can see, this is going to end up being very refreshing in summer. To go with my iced tea, not sweet tea, of course. So anyway, that is, I'm going to just let this run until I end the video. So that is this segment of this video. I'm going to shut the camera off now, and I'm going to get set up for the next segment. Alright, welcome back. So this is an unplanned segment. I was actually going to wait on introducing this machine, but this is one of the ones that came in today. This is actually going to be the replacement for the VX710 that I just showed you in the last segment. This is a brother VX757, probably from the same year, so 1965, as the 710. As you can see, this does have some more interesting features. This has buttonhole capabilities along with the simple zigzag stitch. Another cool feature of this is that this little off-colored piece here is actually a tray that swings out. Let me get my toolkit out of here. That swings out and opens up, and it's already got a bunch of cool accessories and whatnot in it. So you can see it just mounts to that right there in the bed of the actual machine. There is a tab like this on the 710. I had no idea what it was for until this one came in today, and so now I know what it is. It's a pivot arm for this little device here, and then you just close it like that. Everything looks very, very straightforward. This is, I think the 710 had an external tension knob, which is this right here. This one has an internal tension, and if so, this is probably one of the first ones they did, which is very cool. I'm glad to have that. This might actually be newer than 65, in which case this is not officially, but unofficially, possibly my uh, newest sewing machine. You'll see why it has to be possibly my newest sewing machine that I own in the next segment. But here you can see, here's what I'm really excited about. Here you have a setting where you can actually use double needle for embroidery stitching if you want. But then you have your regular zigzag stitches here. This also has the pop-up spool pin, which is awesome. Now, the main reason why I am excited about this machine as I am is because, if you'll bear with me on the hand switch, the half a hand switch, you will see this machine actually cycles all the way through a stitch just by turning the hand wheel, which is something the 710 does not do. So this actually looks to be in a better position to work. I want to lift up. That grinding here is probably because I had the presser foot drop down like this. Back up a little bit so I don't lose focus. You're not supposed to do that without fabric in between the presser foot and the feed dogs, because the feed dogs will wear away on the presser foot. But here's another problem that I see in these machines that are around this age a lot is the gears on the presser feet, which are actually plastic. In this vintage of machine, those gears break a lot, and so the feed dogs don't work. But as you can see, if you look under the presser foot, you can actually see the feed dogs dropping and coming back up, which means they do work, which means those gears are not broken. And like I said, this is cycling all the way through the stitch without hesitation, without getting bound up, which means the drive shaft is nice and straight. So all this one is probably going to need is the standard maintenance, oiling, checking everything out, and then putting it in service, which I'm very, very, very happy for. Another thing, no, that can be for another video. But anyway, so that's this segment. I just wanted to really quickly show the replacement for the 710. So I think I have my zigzag machine that I've been waiting on to get going on some of the projects that I've been putting on hold because I don't have a working zigzag machine yet. And so that's it. Brother VX757 is this machine. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to turn the camera off once again, and then I will get the machine that's actually going to be the focus of today's work here in the shop, since I can't go out and take pictures and shoot photos. So I'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. I'm gonna have to shoot. I ended up needing to shoot a supplementary section or segment to the previous segment because I forgot to mention something, and I also forgot to hit record. So this is surprise supplemental segment take 2. Anyway, what I was saying in that last segment was I had actually, in getting this machine up to the table, I'd actually dropped the pedal, which in machines of this age with these kinds of pedals, if you see the holes in the side of a metal cased foot pedal, then you can pretty much rest assured that the power distribution system inside is stacks of carbon discs that hold the flow of electricity through the pedal and into the machine. And for pedals that have variable speed that's controlled by as you depress the foot pedal, there's a bar that goes across, and it actually limits or restricts how many of those columns of carbon discs are receiving the power to control how much power is going from supply to the machine. So the reason why you don't want to break or drop these is because those carbon discs are incredibly fragile, and once they start breaking, then you lose all kinds of stuff that is important, like thermal protection. So if you've got one of these old sewing machines with a metal pedal and you don't know a lot about it, or if you regularly drop it, then you can take advantage of Brother's very nice design feature where they have the power supply and the connection into the machine and all this other stuff in one unit, and you just go to your favorite sewing parts retailer and you give them the make and the model number, and they say yes, we have a plug, or no, we don't, and then you just grab this entire unit. All of this is just one unit, and so if the pedal has been damaged, that's all I have to do, get a new pedal, and then I'm good to go. So what I was in the middle of saying when I realized that I hadn't actually hit record was, people might be wondering, well, gee, Leland, you, Mr. Incomplete C6, C7 quadriplegic, why do you have a whole bunch of machines that are operated with foot pedals? I will show you. What I normally do is I get the machine set up on the table, oriented better than this when I'm not, shooting a video about it. And I get it hooked up and everything else, and I get the machine pulled to where I can reach it. This is something that I would do from my wheelchair, which is more stable than this office chair that I'm in. But what I literally do is I control the machine. I always use variable speed pedals for the machines that have electric power. And then what I do is I literally just rest my arm on the pedal, and however fast it goes is however fast it goes. There's zero dexterity needed for this because, remember, this is designed for a foot. So I just rest my arm on it with this half a hand, and with the other half a hand I feed the fabric through the working part of the machine, and that is how I sew with two half a hands and a foot controller, just in case you're curious about that. So now I'm going to go again, and I'm going to set up the machine I actually want to highlight for this video, because it's kind of a surprise. But yeah, I'm going to go do that. Alright, here we go. Maybe the last segment of this video. I'm not sure. Probably the last segment of this video. But this is the star of this particular video. This is the main attraction, the main event. This is the other machine I got today. A word of caution, by the way, this is a Singer. I did all of the standard Singer sewing machine things. I went online, I looked up the serial number, and I discovered that this was made on November 14th, I think, either the 4th or the 14th. I could look at my notes, which are right here. It was made November the 4th, 1969. So this is, ta-da, officially my newest sewing machine that I own. Which surprises me. I had thought because this is, that's, let me see, get a little bit better. This is all metal. The only parts of this machine, there might be some plastic gears inside of here, not sure, but I think these are plastic gears in here, because I've seen videos on the Tubes of You where people have upgraded these to be full heavy duty by replacing the nylon gears with metal gears, but that is a very expensive and complicated process because Singer doesn't actually make metal gears for this machine, so they had to fabricate and do all kinds of weird stuff with parts that were not made for the machine, so no telling how long those modified machines actually lasted. But I was actually surprised that this machine is as new as it is, considering it is all metal. I was thinking this has a similar design style to like the Singer 500, which is what they call the Rocketeer, because it does look very space age. But it's got the classic kind of squared off cone nose here that is sort of common for like the 50s. But this is a 1969, so this is officially my newest sewing machine that I have. Of interest to me when I opened it, when I got it out of the box, was this sticker that you can't read through the camera. But that red tag on it says that this has been repossessed. There's, I think, let's see, what does it say? Okay. So originally the sticker said exchanged machine, but someone crossed out exchanged and wrote repossessed. So whatever hardship led to this sewing machine being repossessed is unfortunate. But eventually, somewhere through the decades, it ended up at an online auction, and I found it, I bought it, and it got here today. So this is a Singer 648 touch and sew special zigzag model. I believe that's because most of the touch and sews from this vintage were not actually zigzag models, they were all straight stitch. So I have sort of a that was the bonus. Like this information wasn't included in the listing for it when I put my bid on it, and there wasn't really anything that was shown in the description for the listing for the item that I was paying enough attention to understand that it was a zigzag machine. But if I would have been able to see that this gauge right here, which is stitch width, I would have known as soon as I saw that this is actually a zigzag machine, because there's no such thing as stitch width on a straight stitch only machine. So that's one of the surprises from this machine. The other surprise from this machine is this the spacing on these lugs here in the back, these two little points here, that lets someone mount this machine into a sewing table or desk or whatever you want to call it, appear to be farther apart than on most of the other machines that I have. And so I'm hoping, because of the sewing station, I'm getting tired. Oh, I'll get ready. But because of the sewing table that I have for the various things that I want to do, I get none of the machines that I have will go into that table because the lugs are farther apart, too far apart for most of the machines to go into. So these, at least appearing to be a little bit farther apart, hopefully that means that this machine will actually go into that table, which I was not expecting. So that would be a wonderful thing if I could actually mount a machine into that workstation and have it available. And then if the weather that I just showed you in the previous two segments conks out, then I still have this really stout, and it looks, everything, it's dirty, but it is just about 60 years old. So So the process, what I normally do, by the way, for those of you who get into doing things like this, if you decide, hey, that looks like fun, I want to do it too, just be aware uh, the competition, the market for these things is pretty intense. Um, you do have people that will lurk on listing forever, and they'll wait until something's just about to sell, and you'll be coasting along thinking that you've got it in bags. Nobody's put another bid on it, and then right before the auction ends, you're going to have like 3 or 4 people try to outbid each other at the last minute to see who gets it. That happens all the time. The other thing is that a lot of people that work in these places that have auctions, this one came from, well, I probably shouldn't say the company name because of what I'm about to say after it, but uh, there's not, they put a disclaimer on all of these listings saying that they are not experts in any particular field, and so they can't claim to have any sort of special knowledge on how these things operate or testing them or whatever. And if you're wondering why the lighting in here is so weird, it's because of the migraine I mentioned in the post about canceling my plans to go shooting photos. But I've got a little bit of relief. I don't feel my autonomic disc reflex. You might be taking a break. Maybe the speech interruption was just my body letting me know that I was in a weird position, and now sitting back in the office chair is giving me a little bit of relief. So maybe that's why I haven't gone full blown into whatever those attacks are. But anyway, one thing to be careful of is I try not to get all excited about buying machines at these things that have cases. And the reason that is because very, very few people actually know how to package those things correctly to keep the machine from knocking around inside the case and destroying it from the inside. I've only had one machine come to me that was packaged correctly uh, to keep the damage from happening, and then the machine itself didn't work. So, and I couldn't fix it. So there you go. But what normally happens is that they'll get the machine set inside the case. I've already taken the plastic base that goes to the external case completely off just because of how fried it is. But they'll put the machine in the case, and then they'll think, okay, that's good, and they'll leave the power supply and the pedal and everything else rattling around inside of it, and then they'll put 87 metric tons of bubble wrap and other packing materials around the entire thing, and ship it that way, leaving a void inside of the case. So the machine can just come loose and knock around and everything else. And what normally happens is that the machine destroys the case from the inside, which is what happened to the case for this machine. And when I saw the condition of the case, I was like, oh man, tell me they didn't break this machine. Because I was really excited about it because it is a touch and sew. This is the first touch and sew machine I've ever had. And I want to make sure it does good things. But there's just a couple things to be aware of if you're going to get into these kinds of things. Real quickly, because I forgot how much time I've spent on the other segments, and I don't want to waste any of you guys' time. But my initial intake process, when I get these machines in, doesn't matter how old they are, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check and make sure that the presser foot lever actually works. Then once I get the presser feet up, I take the hand wheel and I turn it towards myself, so counterclockwise, and I check the take up arm and make sure that it cycles all the way through the stitch. This one wants to bind up a little bit at the bottom of the cycle, but it's not bad. Then I check. That might just be dirt because that's not a hard, it's not like stuck fast. It's just like there might be some lint or something stuck in there that's kind of getting in the way of the cycle. but we'll see. And then while I have the presser foot up, I check and make sure that the feed dogs, I don't know if you can see it, maybe if I turn it sort of at an angle this way, and then you can see the feed dogs are actually coming up and they're going on their pre-described route. The other thing I do for most of the machines that I have that have a clutch wheel back here, which I probably could have showed you on the brother machines when I had them up here. Let's see if I have any other machines close enough. Oh, here's the brother. So this back here, this is the clutch wheel. This is how you switch back and forth between regular sewing and bobbin winding. What I'll normally do is I'll disengage the clutch by turning the clutch counterclockwise, and then I'll turn the hand wheel counterclockwise. And what should happen is the needle bar will disengage, but the bobbin winder will keep going, and then that way you can wind bobbins without the needle going up and down and wearing out your sewing processes at the front of the machine. Then when you're done winding the bobbin, you just turn the clutch back clockwise until it engages, and this is not engaging, so that's troubling. Oh, it is engaging. It's just the hand wheel's turning with it. Okay. And then you turn it counterclockwise again by the hand wheel, and then if the needle starts going up and down again, then you know the clutch is properly engaged, and then it's safe to disengage the bobbin winder, and you know that the whole thing works. This machine does not have a bobbin winder, so I don't have a clutch mechanism to test. So that's that. And after I do all of those things, I kind of go through, especially if there's a needle position thing here. This is left, center, right. And then you can see, I've already tested this out, but I'll let you see it maybe if it'll show it. You go left. I push the lever down and slide it over, left. Oops, that's all the way right. I was trying to go center. Center, right, left, so that works. And then here's reverse. Just throw the stitch length lever all the way up for reverse. This has a separate power light way up here for the, sorry. This has a separate power switch for the machine and the light way up here, which is interesting placement. This is the first one I've seen like this in a while. And this also has a feature where you can either engage or disengage the buttonhole thing and attach your buttonhole mechanism to the needle bar. So that's also another thing that I was not expecting with this machine. So this little thing is set up to be a pretty well suited machine, and if it fits into that desk that I have in the other room that I normally work on typewriters and weaving and stuff on, then that is going to be absolutely fantastic. So what I do after I check all of those things is I'll take a dry brush. This is what's called a chip brush, and I'll just go over the whole thing and knock off any loose dust, any like cardboard or anything that got anything around, like any of the controls or whatever. And I'll just take off all of the loose, and I'm just doing this like really gently, all of the loose dirt and gunk from the machine. I'll try to do it so that I'm not knocking anything into like where the feed dogs or any of the moving parts are at. And then on the old machines, the black machines that I'm so fond of, those have a lacquer finish that's covered by clear coat. So what I do after that in order to stabilize those finishes is, after I get all of the dust off, and I'm very certain that I have all the dust off so that I don't create an abrasive type thing, I'll take a facial tissue, because Kleenex is a brand name, and I'll put a little bit of water on it, just enough to get it moist, and then I'll just kind of go over the finish to get any kind of like stuck on grime or whatever, and start very slowly working away on any patches of like dried oil or whatever else, being very careful, very gentle, so as not to like disturb what's left of the clear coat, because my older machines, they've been around for over a century and they have been through some stuff, and their clear coat is not doing all that great. So I'll do that, and then I'll get it kind of sort of as clean as I can with the water, and then I'll go over with some sewing machine oil on cotton balls, and I'll kind of do a little bit more pressure, a little bit kind of thorough cleaning or whatever, but mainly the focus there is to just get a coat of new fresh oil over the finish and get it stabilized or whatever else. And I usually let that, and then I'll oil the machine through the ports, the oil ports that it has, and then I'll let it soak like that for anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks, and then I'll go back to it and I'll start doing the in-depth inspections and everything else. For these newer machines that don't have the lacquer finish, it's just enamel, which is what this is, this painted surface. I usually don't mess around with the oil on the paint. I'll just keep going at it with just a wet cotton ball or rag or something until all the gunk comes off, because I don't have to really worry about trying to stabilize any clear coat or anything. It's just enamel paint after a certain point in time. And then the cleaning part for these newer machines, anything after say the 30s or 40s, is much less intense than it is for stuff like that, and especially stuff like that. So anyway, thanks for your time. I hope I didn't take too much of it. Oh yeah, also this is a different kind of variable speed pedal, and it's the same thing. I like these like this because they're wider, so I can actually sort of like a mouse pad, I can like it in the curve, which is wonderful. It just fits in my hand better, and these are also very nice to use for control. Another thing I'll do is I'll inspect the cords, which I was going to say and I forgot about. These cool little these split plugs that are sort of screwed together, the casings to be made complete and enclosed. And then this is the same kind of thing as what with the brothers that I showed you, where this whole thing unplugs from the machine. It's one unit, so it can all be replaced together. And I can see that some curing soul has already done their best to try to extend the longevity of this thing by doing it feels like under here, under this electrical tape, it feels like where the cord had been run over by something or got pinched by something, and it kind of split. So that's what this feels like. And then they did a fairly decent job of getting it covered correctly in the electrical tape. So I'm not really worried. I haven't tested the electrical on this yet, but I'm not worried about its safety or its function at all. Everything appears to be good. I'm not seeing any evidence of dry rot. The pedal seems to be in good shape, and whatever I got to do on the last segment when I was explaining about why you shouldn't be dropping these pedals is actually shake the pedal so that you all could hear that there's nothing rattling around inside of it, which would be those carbon discs that I was telling you about being busted up and loose inside. So I'm not worried about that pedal because I didn't hear anything when I did shake it to test it. But anyway, that's this video. I hope it's not too long, and if it is, take breaks or whatever, learn a little bit. And if I'm getting annoying by how long my videos are, please let me know, because I don't want to annoy anybody. I'm just trying to share what might be useful for other people. So that's it. That's the report from the bench, Motel's new machine. I'll see y'all later.